Adonai umelech gadol al kol Elohim asher beyado mechkerei haaretz v'toafot harim lo asher beyado mechkerei haaretz v'toafot harim lo. Translated the first 3 stanzas of English. Let us go and sing to Adonai. Let us trumpet praise to our protector. Filled with thanks, let us greet God, raising our voice in song. Great is Adonai, a greater sovereign than all other deities. God's hands form the earth's deep. Mountain crests too are God's work. The sea is God's, for God made it. Dry land was fashioned by God's hands. Come then, let us bow and kneel. Let us bend our knees in the presence of Adonai, who formed us. The theme of the 6 Psalms, and then Lacharodi, and then 2 more Psalms which are joined, so it's really 8, but we think of them as 7, is that as we progress through these 7 Psalms, we're getting happier and happier. But this past week, these 8 days since last Thursday, have weighed heavily on many of us. Picturing the collapse of the building in Surfside, Miami, Florida. So I need a different response. And this is a song based upon a psalm. It's I Turn to You by cantor Robbie Sherwin. I turn to you. It's based upon the phrasing of the psalm, Esa Einai El Elohim. I turn to you, O God, but it's a modern take. I turn to you.
I know I can't get very far, no matter how hard I try. Life pulls me away and down paths I don't know. Should I laugh or should I cry? But I look to the west and my mind seems to clear. I understand now what I need to hold dear. I lift my eyes to the mountains, and there I find you. I turn to you. I turn to you. Life's full of struggles of right and of wrong. You've given me the power to choose. Sometimes desire is found in a song. Despite the win, I pay the dues. We're connected by heart, by soul, and by choice. I thank you, Adonai, for the still small voice. Esainai El Elohim. I lift my eyes to the mountains, and there I find you. Childbirth I
One of the nicknames for God is Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz, maker of heaven and earth. And the modernized rendition of this psalm, which speaks of calling out to God and turning to God, says Oseh Shamayim Va'aretz, which is all over the Siddur. And the melody is intended to lift us up in times of fear and concern. The bottom of 16, it's the last stanza of one of the stepping stones towards the Lachadodi. Or zur latzadik lishlev simcha simchu tzadikim baranoi v'hodel lezeker kocho, teaches that light is sown for the righteous. Joy is sown for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name. The Siddur starts off in a very presumptuous way, asserting that every one of us is righteous. And as a function of who we are, with our inherent righteousness, we affect the world in which we live. And divine light is deposited here in the universe because of our merit. That leads us, psalm after psalm, towards the Lecha Dodi. And so now we're on page number 20. And on the English side of page number 20, Moses and Aaron among God's priests, and Samuel among those who called upon the divine name, called to you, and you answered them. You spoke to them from amidst the cloud. They kept your covenant and the law you gave them. You answered them, Adonai our God. You were a forgiving God to them, even as you punished them for their transgressions. Exalt Adonai our God and bow down at God's holy mountain, for Adonai our God is holy. You answered them in those days. O God, answer us. And now, on page number 21. Havul Adonai b'nei elim, Havul Adonai kavod vos, Havul Adonai kavod shemo, Hishtachavul Adonai behadrat kodesh. Kol Adonai al amayim, el kavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim. Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shaver arazim, Vaishaber Adonai et arze albanon, Vayargidem kmo egel, Lebanon v'Siryon kmo ben reimim. Kol Adonai chotzev lavodesh, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, Yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yechol el ayalot, Vayechesof yarot, Vayechalo kulo, Omer kavod, Adonai lamabu yashav, Vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo v'shalom. And Lachadodi, on page 23, the first two stanzas. Page 25, the last two stanzas. Lechadodi likrad kala, P'nei Shabbat nikavela. Lechadodi likrad kala, P'nei Shabbat nikabela. Shamor v'zachor b'dibor echad. Hishme'anu el am yuchad. Adonai echad. Ushmo echad. L'shem otif eret velit hila. Lechad odi likrad kala. P'nei Shabbat nik. Likrad Shabbat lechuven elcha. Ki mekor habracha. Merosh mikedem nesucha. Sof ma'aseh b'machashava techila. Lechad odi likrad kala. P'nei Shabbat nikabel. Yamin. Yamin usmol tifrotzi. Ve'et Adonai taritzi. Al yad ish ben partzi. V'nismecha v'nagila. Lechad odi likrad kala. P'nei Shabbat nikabela. Boi v'shalom ateret bala. Gam b'simcha uv'tzala. Toch emunei am sigula. Boi chala, boi chala. Lechad odi likrad kala. P'nei Shabbat nikabela. And we're seated. And prior to the Psalm for Shabbat, again, a bit of personal latitude. The Psalm for Shabbat speaks of great joy and happiness, but there are many people right now who are suffering. So in a moment, a song prayer. It's called Biyado, and it was written by a rabbi, David Paskin, to help tuck his daughter in at night. And he's offering her a prayer to calm her nighttime fears. And he plays off of a phrase found in the Adon Olam, but he makes it a very gentle and soft peace. And that's what I'm in need of right now, a sense of reassuring gentleness. Before the Psalm for Shabbat, Biyado.
בית אישן ויעירה ואם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא יירא בידו אפקיד רוחי בית אישן ויעירה ואם רוחי גביעתי Adonai li velo ira. As I lay you down to sleep, I pray to God your soul to keep in the shelter of God's wings. May you always be a blessing. Shine as stars above. May you always know love. Be a door of key. v'yayra ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li v'lo ira. As I lay you down to sleep, I pray to God your soul to keep in the shelter of God's wings. May you always be a blessing. May the angels guard your nights. May you wake in radiant light. May you shine as stars above. May you always know love. Biyado afkid ruchi beit ishan v'yayra ve'im ruchi geviati Adonai li v'lo ira. Adonai li v'lo ira.
The last two stanzas on page 28. The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon. Planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in our God's courtyards. In old age, they remain fruitful, still fresh and bountiful, proclaiming Adonai is upright, my rock in whom there is no flaw. The second psalm in the evening that speaks of the confidence in each and every one of us is righteous, making a difference in our world. That's our doorway into Shabbat. We turn now to the Borchu and rise on page 39a. Baruch hu et Adonai Amavorach. Baruch Adonai Amavorach Leolam Vaed. And as we're seated, aloud, Baruch Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, you completed your work of dawn, whose understanding changes the days, division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tzvaot is your name, living and ever-present God. May your rule be with us forever and ever. El Chai v'Kayam, Tamidim Lochalen Olam Voed, Baruch Atah Adonai, Hama'ariv Aravim. Day and night here in our world are windows into God's reality. And now on the second song sheet, Holy Ground, a song by Craig Talman reminding us that wherever we are in the presence of Kedusha, holiness. Craig Talman's song, Holy Ground.
Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, everything, everyone, every place, every way, where you walk, where you stand, where you love, where you praise, all of life is holy ground. Every he, every she, every what, every who, it's in her, it's in them, it's in me, it's in you. In the bitter, in the sweet, in the calm, in the storm, all of life is holy ground. So walk as if it's holy ground. Breathe as if it's all around. Talk and make a holy sound. Take your shoes off, you're on holy ground. When you hurt, when you heal, when you laugh, when you pray, when you hold, when you keep, when you give it away, every second, every minute, every hour, every day, all of life is holy ground. So walk as if it's holy ground. Breathe as if it's all around. Talk and make a holy sound. We take our shoes off, we're on holy ground. We are one people, one story, one tapestry we weave, one journey, one glory, one legacy we leave. Every second, every minute, every hour, every day, everything, everyone, every place, every way, where you walk, where you stand, where you love, where you praise, all of life is holy ground. Can you feel the holy ground? Take your shoes off, you're on holy ground.
And now the second bracha, page 40. Ahavat olam Beit Yisrael Amcha Havta Torah u'mitzvot chukim u'mishpotim Otanu limadita Al ken Adonai Eloheinu b'shachveinu v'kumeinu nasiach b'chukecha v'nismag b'divrei Toratecha ובמצוותיך לעולם ועד. כי הם חיינו ואורך ימינו ואורך ימינו. ובא lahem nege yomam v'layla. V'avotecha al tasir mimenu l'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai, ohev amo Yisrael. Gadiel? Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'avta et Adonai Elohecha, b'chol levavcha, u'b'chol nafshecha, Uvachol meodecha, ve'hayu hadavarim ha'ele, asher anochi mitzavecha yom levavecha, v'shinantam levanecha, v'dibartabam, v'shivtecha beveitecha, Uvalektecha vaderech, uveshachbecha v'kumecha, ukishartam liot al yadecha, v'hayu letotafot beninecha, uktavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uvisharecha. A few moments of silence. Adonai Elohechem emet. On page 44 on the English side. Then Moses, Miriam, and the people Israel joyfully sang to you, Umalchuta beratzon kiblu aleim, Moshe u'Miriam v'nei Yisrael, lechanu shira, b'simcha rabba v'yamru chulam. Who is like you, Adonai, among the mighty? Who is like you, adorned in holiness, revered in praise, working wonders? Mi chamocha Poelim Adonai, mi kamocha, nedar b'kodesh, noratilot, osefele. Your children recognized your sovereignty as you split the sea before Moses. This is my God, they responded and said. Adonai will reign forever and ever. Malchutecha ra'u vanecha, bokeh yam lifnei Moshe, zeli anu v'yamro, Adonai yimloch le'olam va'ed. And so it is written, Adonai has rescued Jacob and redeemed him from the hand of those more powerful than he. Baruch atah Adonai, who redeemed the people Israel. The Hashkivenu is on page number 45. And just a reminder that when the Hashkivenu was originally composed, it was not for the evening service. It was for the bedtime Shema. And some Jews remember and still practice saying the Shema on the bed before they go to sleep at night. And the Hashkivenu, which was composed, was intended to escort individual Jews from the moment of sitting on their bed as they turned and put their heads down on the pillow into a sense of calm and peace. And Hashkivenu is so powerful, migrated from Shema on the bed to the evening service. So that's what you and I are doing right now. And every other Jew that might be saying Hashkivenu, whether in a communal setting, in an evening prayer, or in a silent, private bedtime preparation. Let's take hold of that and send that power out into the world, especially to those people who are scared tonight. Those people who are alone tonight. Many of whom are in Surfside, Miami, and they fear the worst. Hashkivenu Adonai, our God, to sleep peacefully. Awaken us to life, O Sovereign. Spread over us your canopy of peace. Restore us with your good counsel, and save us for the sake of your name. Shield us. Remove from us enemies, pestilence, sword, starvation, and sorrow. Remove the evil forces that surround us. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings. For you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, are sovereign, merciful, and compassionate. Ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace. Baruch atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel. Ufros aleinu sukat shlomecha, Baruch atah Adonai, haporei sukat shalom aleinu, v'al kol amo Yisrael, v'al Yerushalayim. The top of page 46. V'shamra b'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Beini u'bein b'nei Yisrael, oti le'olam, oti le'olam, oti le'olam. V'shamra b'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, la'asod et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit olam. Ki sheshet yamim asa Adonai, et ha-shamayim v'et ha'aretz v'shamro b'nei Yisrael, et ha-Shabbat, la'asot et ha-Shabbat, ledorotam berit. Uvayom hashvi Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash, Shabbat vayinafash v'shamro b'nei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat la'asot et ha-Shabbat ledorotam. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabot v'chayechan v'yamechan v'chayedechol beit Yisrael bagala v'ezman karev v'imera amen yeshmei rabba mevarach La'olam li'ol me'ol maya yid Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitparvim v'nesev yidhadar v'yitalev v'yitalal Shemei d'kudesh abrechu leila m'korachata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechemata Ta'amiran mi'alma v'imera amen. In a moment, we'll rise for the Amidah, and you see the little caption or title of the first bracha, our ancestors. The word that's used is Elohei Avotenu V'imotenu, God of our fathers and our mothers, and they're listed, Abram and Isaac and Jacob and Sarah, Rebekah and Rachel and Leah. And we know those names, but we may forget that we share them all. And when we're speaking of our ancestors, we're also reminding ourselves that each and every one of us is connected to him and to her and to all of them. We're all siblings. We're all kin. So tonight, as we rise for the silent prayer, understand the message, which is not hidden. It's as obvious as every single word on the page, that we're all part of a greater whole. And offer your prayers on behalf of yourselves, your loved ones, and on behalf of people whom you don't know, but they're part of you, and you're part of them. The traditional text, page 47 through 52, or a few moments of silent prayer. page 54. Yitkaral v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah. V'imiru amen. Yehei shemei Rabbah mevarach. Le'olam le'olmei omayayit. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpasei v'darav l'shmei kudusha brechu le'la min kol berchata v'shirata tishbachata v'nechamata tamriva v'yimro amen. Titkabel tzloton v'ton d'chayser kadam avon yishmai v'yimro amen. Yehei shmos v'yimro amen. Oseh shalom v'yaseh shalom v'lenos v'yimro amen. I cannot get the images of this collapsed condominium out of my head. And I know that as a function of the internet and our smartphones, you and I are deluged with all manner of tragedies and bad news. And each one is deserving of our heart and of our attention and of our compassion and our concern. But the collapse in Surfside is just holding me. And it may be because, as I've said before last week, when I was growing up as a child, every summer we vacationed on Collins Ave. And we stayed at a little spot on 96 and Collins Ave, which is just 11 blocks away from Champlain Towers. And we walked up and down Collins Ave all the time. And as a 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, I'd go to the library and get a summer library card and check out books at the Surfside Library. And we walked up and down that whole beach. And as you know, the building's 40 years old, which means that it was built on the site of a small little hotel that I used to pass, but that hotel's long gone. And it's just holding me. And we've all seen the images. There's a picture of a little girl, and there's a little yellow sticky attached to that picture of a little girl, and the sticky says, God is looking for you. There's a man named Steve Eisenberg. He lost his father in the collapse of the Twin Towers. And he's friends with Dr. Brad Cohen. And I mentioned the name Dr. Brad Cohen and also Dr. Gary Cohen last week. They're from Tuscaloosa. They're brothers. They're doctors. And one of them, I don't know which, is the father of, and the other is the uncle of, a friend of our son Jacob. And Steve Eisenberg, who used to live in New York and lost his father in the collapse of the Twin Towers, is now standing next to the rubble in Surfside. And he was interviewed, and he said, I was the witness on the sign the ketubah at the chuppah of my friend Brad Cohen. And he's now standing at the collapsed rubble, and we've all seen that rubble. And so Steve, who lost his father in the collapsed Twin Towers, now, years later, is seeing that monstrous heap of debris. And he doesn't know about his friend. And he signed the ketubah at the wedding. And he remarked, you know, there's a reason that Jews break a glass at a wedding. On the happiest of all occasions, we introduce a little bit of sadness and sorrow. And you might ask why. And Steve Eisenberg, who lost his dad at the Twin Towers, and his friend Brad Cohen here, maybe, hopefully not, but who knows, says it's to teach us that we always have to be prepared to live simultaneously with happiness and sorrow. to teach us that we simultaneously live with happiness and sorrow. Baruch Sandhaus was a volunteer paramedic at the Twin Towers, and now he's a volunteer paramedic in Surfside. And on one specific occasion, Tuesday or Wednesday, he was helping, and many of the family members were very distraught. And Baruch Sandhaus went to a local shul and brought one of the rabbis back and escorted him into an area and helped him to get to be close to the families. It's sticking inside me in a way that I just did not anticipate. It's such a moment of darkness, and I'm looking for light. And I did find it. I found it with you and all the people who are not in this room, and with someone else. The Israeli rescue team. By now you know that a few days ago, a special unit of 10 Israeli search and rescue personnel came. And you might ask, the Miami-Dade County Search and Rescue Team is among the most professional and extensive units in the entire country, the entire United States of America. Why does Israel need to send 10 people to help in the rescue efforts, in the search efforts? And the answer is, thank God that the children of Israel have the caring and the compassion that they wish to reach out and travel halfway around the world to come to the United States. And when I see that 10 Israeli specialized staff are standing here with the Dade Miami Rescue Squad and also Mexican volunteer rescuers, for the sake of bringing hope and, when necessary, closure to people who are in agony, I'm lifted up. And there's a little bit of light brought into this experience of exceptional darkness. One of the members of the team specializes in psychological trauma. So in addition to bringing their expertise of physically removing debris and hopefully finding people, the goal of this team is to uplift people here. Great darkness has enveloped this community. And I remember hearing a phrase many years ago, long before I knew advanced Hebrew. I heard the phrase, be a light unto the nations. And only later did I learn that actually comes from the Hebrew Bible, comes from the prophet Isaiah. His name is Yeshayahu. And the Hebrew is Or Lagoyim. We are to be a light unto the nations. And you might ask, how on earth can 0.02% of 1% of the global population bring light into a world that seems to be filled with darkness? 99.98% of the world is not Israel. And Isaiah tells us that we are commanded and we are privileged to bring light into a darkened world. And when I see a volunteer paramedic who was once standing at the site of the loss of his own father, here, trying to offer support, I see a light coming into a darkened place. When I learn that an Israeli rescue team, along with a specialist in psychological trauma, is here because of the need to offer care, I see a light coming into a darkened world. And I ask myself, why is it so important to have light in a darkened place? And I answer my own question, Do you remember how the Torah begins? God says, let there be light. That's how the entire universe is reorganized, by bringing light into a place of darkness, of confusion, light into chaos. So when you and I, as members of the people of Israel, are privileged in our own small ways, or maybe grand ways if we're part of a rescue team, to bring light into a darkened world, we're imitating God. We're changing a world from chaos into a world of order, a world on the steps towards beauty. That's how I'm consoling myself. May we all have the capacity in our own ways, and they may be small, but one strike of a small match does change a whole room, to bring a little bit of light into a darkened place. And may we have the awareness that we can influence others to bring light into our darkened world. We rise for the Aleinu. Page number 56. Aleinu l'shabeach ladon hakol, latet gedula liotzer breshit, shelo asanu k'goyei aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, V'gar aleinu kechol hamonam, v'anachnu korim, u'mishtachavim u'modim, lifnei melech, malchei amlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu noteh shamayim v'yosei haaretz, Moshav Yekaro Bashamayim Mimal, Ushchinatu Zo, Vegave Meromim, Hu Eloheinu Enod, Emet Malkeinu Efesulatom, Kakatu betorato, v'yadata yom v'shevota elavavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim mimal, v'al haaretz, mitachat enod. Kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch le'olam ba'ed, v'nemar v'haya Adonai le'melech al kol haaretz, bayom hahu, yiyeh Adonai echad, O Shema. In a moment, the Mourner's Kaddish on page 58, and if you are reciting Kaddish, you're welcome to remain standing on this occasion. With great love, we remember Myra Buckman, Jerry Smith, Hannah Grotsky, George Topper, Paige Sass, Max Goldrich, Harry Bernstein, Hyman Berger, Louis Friedland, Louis Cohen, Anna Gupp, Myra Mitchell, Lottie Perloff, Paul Kravitz, Carol Campbell, Tilly Reddish, Molly Cohen, Malvern Cooper, Louis Kahn, Dr. William Levy. We're thinking of those who died in Surfside. Are there any other names to mention this evening? Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah be'olma divra hirute v'yamlich malchute v'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chaye dechol beit Yisrael v'agala u'v'zman kariv v'yimeru amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach la'olam ololmei olmaya Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitdaleh v'yithalal shemei dekudesha b'richu le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran ba'olma v'yimeru amen. Yehei shlama Rabbah min shemaya v'chayim aleinu yal kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. Oseh shalom b'mromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu yal kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. The last two lines of the Kaddish have Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael for all of us and for everyone in Israel. It's a reminder, every time we say Kaddish, we're paying attention to everyone else. And everyone else simultaneously is paying attention to us. We're on the receiving end as well as on the giving end. A couple quick reminders. Tomorrow morning, Minyan at 10. And of course, Havdalah tomorrow night on Zoom at 8. Monday, the office is closed, no Tanakh study. Tuesday, Adult Hebrews on Zoom. And Tuesday, the Spirit discussion. The topic is, how do I know when I have enough? That's the Zoom Spirit discussion on Tuesday. And just a reminder, something special, it is July. We're very excited. We have 2 guitar Shabbats, July 9th and July 16th. And they'll be on the YouTube channel and also in person. So we're very excited that Yehuda is joining us July 9th and July 16th. We will nearly conclude. First, just a reminder that we'll be making Kiddush and Hamotzi after we conclude. And we have wine and grape juice and challah in the back for people to serve themselves. And perhaps those joining in at home will also prepare for wine and grape juice and challah. And before Kiddush, it is nearly July 4th. So we're going to conclude with a special melody. This is one of my all-time favorites. Mandy Patinkin is joining us tonight via the magic of his desire to join us. And he's going to sing a little ditty, Take Me Out to the Ball Game. But I think you better listen closely. And God Bless America comes into play as well near the very end.
Mit zu der Ball gehen, zu heulen, lo mir doch gehen. Kauf mir den misslichen Cracker Jack, will ich kein Mul von dort nicht weg. Jetzt mut dit Ballspieler, es passt nicht, als man verspielt, weil sie sehen, Zwei, drei Streiks und Neus bei der Baseballspiel. Gott bin Amerika, Land, wo sich lieb, steh ich bei ihr, Madrich sei ihr, überall das Strahlen zu lieb, von die Berge zu den Prairies, bis die Arme weiß mit Schein. Gott nennt Amerika, mein süßer Heim. Gott nennt Amerika, weil sie sein, zwei, drei Streiks und Neus bei der Spielball!
Play ball. Good job. It's Kiddush and Motzi. Wine and grape juice and challah back. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam borei parei agafen. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech olam Asher kitshana b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu v'shabbat kodsho b'yavav v'ratzon inchilanu zikaron l'maseh v'reshit ki yom techila l'mikroi kodesh zecher l'tziat mitzrayim Kivanu v'acharta v'yotanu kirashta mikol amim v'shabbat kodshecha b'yavo v'ratzon hinchaltanu Baruch atah Mekadesh HaShabbat. Michael Amotzi. Thank you for joining us, and thanks for joining in while we have people here in our room. And we hope and pray for the best for you. May this weekend of July 4th be a time of renewal and calm and happiness. May we come together as family and friends, rejoicing over the many blessings that we have. And may we share our love and our support with our neighbors and with our fellow man. Hopefully we'll see each other perhaps in shul tomorrow or Havdalah tomorrow night, and at some point in person. Until we see each other again, Lehitraot, good Shabbat.